Hey guys, I just want to make a real quick video to kind of show you, summarize like what I talked about in the blog and get to the core of why you're watching this is to learn a few exercises that you could do maybe if some of what you read seemed to apply to you. In the blog we talked about your feet and we talked a lot about footwear, and I'll just show you an example real quickly of what I was talking about with the raised heels. Here's an example of two shoes. First we have a Converse. And you'll notice with the Converse that from the back to the front of the shoe, there's really no change in height at all. It pretty much stays the same. You'll see the bottom of the shoe is pretty flat. Versus a running shoe, which for years I claimed as all these are the greatest things in the world. Maybe not so much for everyday function, and definitely not so much for doing like weight training and stuff like that in the gym. If you take a look, one big thing that you're going to see is that the back of the shoe is much higher than the front of the shoe. It's about 3 inches to maybe an inch, like in the front. So what that does, looking at the foot, kind of using my arm more or less is like the foot. You'll see that my toes are down, my heels on the actual skeleton. Real quickly, I'll slide this guy over, the bony guy over. You could see that same kind of configuration in that your toes go down and your heel goes up, right? This isn't the best thing when we talk about your ankle, your knee, your hip. What happens is these muscles in the back get really tight and they alter your foot strike position. Your toes are going to actually turn out. And this isn't the best like model for this, but when your toes turn out, your knee, instead of staying pretty much in a straight line when you walk and when you move, what happens is it starts to bend in something like that. And, this isn't the greatest model, but that's going to create a lot of stress on the inside part of your knee, probably on the outside maybe of this hip. If you looked at the blog, you're going to see that there's all these muscles that go from here, they wrap around to the opposite side of your upper body. So there's all kinds of like pulls and stresses that you're going to feel in different places, and a lot of it may or may not start at the feet, but we could see issues at your feet, and I kind of covered some of that in the blog. So that might be something that you want to consider, like when paying attention to your body and trying to maintain it on a daily basis. Okay, so a few things that you could do at home that you can kind of start off with, is using a tennis ball. For a couple of exercises to kind of relieve some of the stress that's placed in your calf and on your foot. We didn't talk a whole lot about fascia. We'll save that for another day. But before you can really start stretching and lengthening muscles out, you got to break up some adhesions or some knots that build up. And we're going to do this with some massaging, and you can use a lot of household products, but a tennis ball is great. Okay. Some of this I can't really show you because there's not a whole lot of room here. But the first thing that you'd want to do with the tennis ball is using the skeleton again, is underneath the bottom of your foot, like right around where your big toe is. You just take the ball and just roll it. Find a spot that might be a little sensitive right there, and you're just going to hold it and probably give yourself about a minute or so where you let your foot just rest on that ball, and then take your toes and kind of grip it, and then pull back and grip it and pull back. There goes the ball. Okay. After we do that, from like a laying down position or kneeling position, you're going to take the ball, and right below on the outside part of your leg, right around here, there's a muscle called your tibialis anterior that we talked about in the video, just close to the front part of your shin. We'll take the ball and you're going to lay on it, and you're just going to hold it right about there. Okay, we'll flip you over to the back, and there'll be two spots that we'll hold it at. We're going to put the ball right here on the outside part of your leg, right? And we're just going to hold it with the ball on the inside part of your leg. Basically what the tennis ball is going to do, it's kind of like a foam roller. If you go to the gym, you've seen these, but a little bit more direct. It'll start to break up some of that connective tissue, some of those adhesions that start to develop. Like kind of think of as a fascia as kind of like the saran wrap that envelopes like ground beef or such at the at the market, and sometimes you probably have noticed how like it'll get little pockets in it, and it looks like air collects. Or the same sort of thing that happens if you get muscles that sit in a static position for too long. They'll get adhesions, they'll get bruises, they won't work right. Right, your brain will say move. It's gonna find a way to move, but it's not gonna use the right part. So the first step in fixing the length tension relationship of your muscles is breaking up those adhesions, and we can start to do that with the golf ball, right? Golf ball or tennis ball, right? You can get real dramatic with this. You know, if you notice that motion that we're talking about with your foot going toe down or toe up, this is plantar flexion, this is dorsiflexion. Again, it's something that's illustrated a little bit better in the blog. You know, if you notice that one foot really deviates more than another, that you don't have, you know, a great range of motion, like for me, like I tested this myself, and I got a night splint, so I slept in this, and what it helped do is while I was resting at night, while I was trying to sleep at night, my 3 or 4 hours that I get, it helped pull my toe up, and then I noticed that my flexibility in my calf like started to increase. So those are a couple things. Couple stretches that you could do. You could just with the band. This is a stretch strap, but you could also just use a towel. You could just wrap it. Let's see if I can get this like on the video here for you. We could just wrap this around your foot a couple times. And just from a nice like seated position, we'll do some active isolating stretches. So you'll just pull with even tension on both sides of the strap, then just release. Pull and release. You're going to hold, when you pull, you'll hold 3, 2, 1, then just relax. Pull, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay? Again, this is kind of a crude, real quick video. And again, I'm the producer, I'm the actor, I'm the director. This is my studio and my set, so just bear with me as we kind of figure out this whole like blogging thing. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, just leave me a message and we'll go from there. Okay? Thanks.